Everyone refused to save the paralyzed alien warrior, except this human soldier. The war had ended, but the scars it left across the galaxy would last centuries. Warlords had fallen, empires crumbled, and alliances barely held together under the fragile treaties written in blood and desperation. The battlefield was no longer littered with ships and weapons. It was filled with broken bodies, displaced peoples, and those no one wanted to claim. Sergeant Elias Ward never thought he'd still be on duty after the armistice. He was tired both in body and spirit. But the Alliance had reassigned him to the ruins of Outpost 9, a medical triage station orbiting a dead moon, where the forgotten survivors were brought in. His job was simple: assess, log, and, if possible, relocate those left behind. On his third rotation, Elias walked into the dim quarantine wing and stopped. There, strapped to a hovering gurney, was an alien warrior, a Krivak. The Krivak were once the most feared enemy of the human fleets, towering reptilian beings with bone-plated hides, tusked jaws, and strength that rivaled entire battalions. For years, the war had been fueled by their ruthless campaigns. Humanity had lost thousands to them. This warrior was different. His once proud body was broken. His lower half was limp, paralyzed from a spinal fracture. The medics whispered his name. Verak, a commander among his kind.
Captured.
Abandoned. Elias checked the datapad. The notes were short and cruel. Non-recoverable. Dangerous if rehabilitated. Recommend euthanasia. He frowned. You're just leaving him here? Dr. Halden, the chief medic, didn't look up from his console. That Krivak killed more humans than you'll ever know. You want to waste supplies keeping a paralyzed monster alive? He's lucky we didn't vent him out an airlock. But the war's over. Halden's eyes narrowed.
For us.
Not for them. That thing's a liability. Elias looked at the warrior. Verak's tusked jaw twitched, his golden eyes dull, but not dead. He could hear. He understood every word. Elias stepped closer, lowering his voice. Can you understand me? The Krivak's gaze sharpened, just slightly. His clawed hand trembled, the only part of him that seemed to obey. Slowly, painfully, he tapped 2 fingers against the gurney rail. Yes. The days that followed were a war of their own. Elias couldn't stop thinking about him. The medics refused to administer more than the bare minimum to keep Verak alive. His rations were half. His painkillers were reduced to nothing. The others laughed about it. Good riddance. Let the beast suffer. But Elias remembered something his father once told him. You don't measure a soldier's honor by who he kills. You measure it by who he saves, when no one else will. On the 4th night, Elias smuggled extra rations into the quarantine wing. He placed the food pack on Verak's tray. The Krivak's hand trembled as he reached for it, but his claws slipped. Elias caught it before it fell.
Easy.
I've got you. For the first time, the alien's eyes softened. Not gratitude, not yet, but recognition. A human was treating him as more than a carcass waiting to be disposed of. Weeks passed. Elias cleaned Verak's wounds when others refused. He stretched his limbs so his muscles wouldn't waste away. He spoke to him, not knowing how much the Krivak understood of human standard, until one night, the alien rasped words back in a low, guttural accent. Why? Elias almost dropped the medical cloth. You can speak. Broken spine. Verak growled, voice thick with pain. Not broken mind. Why help me? Elias hesitated. Because no one else will. The Krivak stared at him for a long moment. Then he huffed, a sound halfway between a laugh and a snarl. Fool human. Maybe. But Elias kept coming back. Trust grew like a fragile flame. Verak told him of his people, the glory they sought, the songs of their ancestors, the shame of being left behind. His clan would never claim him now. A warrior who could not stand was already dead in their eyes. You should let me die, Verak said one night. My people do not honor weakness. Then I'll honor it for them, Elias replied. The alien blinked slowly. He didn't answer. When supply shortages hit Outpost 9, the council ordered all non-essential patients transferred for processing. Everyone knew what that meant. Elias stormed into the command deck. You can't. He's stable, responsive. Captain Rourke cut him off. He's an enemy. One that can't even walk. Ward. Are you out of your mind? If he was human, maybe. But a Krivak? Forget it. No, Elias's voice shook, but he stood firm. If you won't keep him here, then transfer him to my care. I'll take responsibility. The room went silent. Then came the laughter. You'd chain yourself to a crippled war beast? Be my guest. But when it tears your throat out, don't say we didn't warn you. Elias signed the papers that night. Against orders. Against sense. He moved Verak into a private chamber. Every day became survival, stealing extra medicine, rationing food, hiding the alien from inspections. And through it all, Verak changed. The growls grew quieter. The insults turned into questions. And slowly, painfully, the paralyzed warrior began to trust. One night, as Elias was tightening a brace around his chest, Verak whispered, In my tongue, there's a word. Draven. It means shield brother. One who stands when others fall. That is what you are to me. Elias swallowed hard. Then you're my brother too. For the first time, the alien warrior smiled.
The peace didn't last.
Raiders hit Outpost 9, a band of mercenaries scavenging for tech. Alarms blared. Soldiers scrambled. Elias rushed into the chamber. Stay here, Isle. No, Verak's claws gripped his arm. You cannot fight them alone. Strap me to the exo chair. Give me a weapon. You can't. Even broken, I am still Krivak. Elias hesitated. Then, against every regulation, he wheeled Verak into a combat exoskeleton chair and armed him with a plasma rifle. The raiders never stood a chance. Verak's aim was precise, his roar terrifying even from the chair. Side by side, human and alien drove them back. After the battle, soldiers stared in disbelief at the paralyzed Krivak who had fought for them. No one laughed anymore. When the dust settled, the council convened. Some wanted Verak executed anyway. Others argued he had earned his place. Elias stood before them all. You call him a monster, but he fought for us when he had no reason to. He could have let me die, but he chose to stand despite not being able to stand at all. If that isn't worth saving, then what the hell are we fighting for? Silence filled the hall. At last, Captain Rourke sighed. Very well. The Krivak stays. But Ward, he's your responsibility. Don't make me regret this. Elias turned to see Verak watching from his chair, golden eyes burning. Not with hatred, but with something new. Respect. Brotherhood. For the first time since his capture, the alien warrior bowed his head. Not in defeat, but in allegiance. The galaxies still whispered of war. But in the ruins of Outpost 9, a human soldier and a paralyzed alien warrior proved something no treaty could, that enemies could become brothers when one man refused to let another be forgotten. And so, when history remembered the Krivak commander Verak, it did not call him crippled. It called him Draven's brother, the warrior a human refused to abandon when everyone else did.